Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be reviewing the Fenix BC21R version 3 LED headlight. Fenix's BC21R headlights have been one of Fenix's most popular bike lights thanks to the removable battery design. With the BC21R version 3 that we have here, Fenix has made the light brighter and more visually attractive. In terms of packaging, you can see it's a plastic box with all the specs printed right on it. We'll go ahead and take it out of the box and go over those specs. So retail price on this is $74.95 currently. And as I mentioned, it's actually been upgraded from the previous version. So now it has 1200 lumens from a single Luminus LED. It has a removable lithium-ion battery. It's an 18650. And that's really rare to see with bike lights, but with Fenix being a flashlight company, they've really retained all the flashlight style design features and put it in their bike light. Has USB Type-C charging, which again, really nice to see, modern feature, and a multi-level battery indicator that can be accessed by simply clicking on the power button. It's IPX6 rated as well, which is really cool, considering the fact that you do have a removable tail cap, which you would think would compromise some of the weatherproofing, but it still works quite well. And you get the Fenix 2600 milliamp battery with the light. In terms of what you get, obviously you get the battery, you get a handlebar mount, and then underneath here, you get a USB Type-C charging cable, warranty card, and then the instruction manual. Now let's check the weight of the light. So we have the handlebar mount. We'll go ahead and remove from the light. So the light by itself comes in at 156 grams. While the handlebar mount, that comes in at 28. Not only is the BC21R version 3 brighter than the previous version, but it's also more visually attractive as Fenix has incorporated a lot of the design elements from the BC26R light into this. The metal housing has this nice dark gray finish with these heat fins cut directly into it. A single button interface with this metal button that actually has a illumination behind it, so you can easily check the battery status. Simple branding, you can see the brand, the model number here, Fenix on the side, and then basic tags on the other side. You have a spring-loaded tail cap here, and that's what really sets this light apart from most bike lights on the market. It's a non-integrated battery, so you can actually replace this, carry another one if you needed it. It's a really cool feature. So this has a Fenix branded battery. You can always get another one of comparable quality, slide it in here, and you have a spring-loaded tail cap with a simple O-ring here for weatherproofing. So you can see once it's on, you have nice weatherproofing and IP6 rated, so you can actually put this underwater up to 2 meters without it being damaged. They're really impressive considering the non-integrated design. On the bottom, you have the USB Type-C port under the rubber cover, which again, really nice to see. Still a lot of products are using micro USB. And then their proprietary mount. It's a simple slide-on design, and you can see the quick release handlebar mount. So you slide it through the tab, and then it locks into place. To remove it, you have a little tab here that locks it in. So you pull it down, pull back, and then easily remove it. The mount itself is also really nice. It's a cam design. So quick release, no tools required, which is really nice. So you simply hinge it over and then tighten the bottom thumb screw. So it's simple. We'd like to see a Garmin mount, but with this one, you can actually buy an adapter. This is the ALD10. So for a couple bucks, you can actually get this adapter that replaces the top of the mount with a little adapter to a GoPro. And that actually lets you install this on an out front mount upside down. So you can simply put it there, and because it's non-directional, you don't have to worry about the extra glare. Speaking of the LED, it's a single Luminus SST40 LED, and every year these LEDs get brighter, so that's what helps us achieve the 1200 lumen output. It's non-directional, which is a little bit odd. The previous version had some vertical deflectors that would help reduce glare and create a dual beam. With this one, you have a cone beam, so it does produce glare, so you want to tilt it a little bit downward, but it has a nice simple design and does mean you can mount this upside down or right side up without any worries. The user interface on the light is also very simple. It's very reminiscent of the Fenix flashlights. Single button interface, hold it to turn it on. Press it once to cycle through the 4 constant modes. And then there's a fifth flash mode, which you can access by double pressing. What's great about that is you don't have to cycle through flash in order to change intensity, which can be really distracting when you're riding at night. Also, you can see the flash mode is a low-high instead of an on-off flash, which is a little bit odd and better suited for nighttime riding instead of daytime riding where you'd want it to go on-off. Hold it to turn the light off again. They're really simple, and the nice thing is they have a multi-level battery status indicator. So you can see this illuminates when you press it once and the light is off. And that lets you check the battery status before you start riding. Now let's take a look at the output modes of the light. There are 5 modes to choose from. 4 constant modes. You get a 33-hour low mode, which is great for daytime riding. You have medium, high, and then a turbo mode, which is a full 1200 lumens. And as you can see, the jumps between the lumen count is quite large. So it's pretty obvious to tell which mode you're in. And then you even have a flash mode, which is a nighttime flash. So it goes low, high instead of on-off. We would like to see an on-off variation, which is better for daytime riding, as they usually have long run time, but bright enough to be seen. On the road, you can see the light actually works pretty well. It's fairly compact, so it doesn't take up much space on the handlebar. And using the optional accessories, you can even mount it on out front mount. As you can see, the beam itself, very standard shape. There's no beam cutoff, not even a soft beam cutoff. So you can see the brighter spot in the middle and then a lot of spread along the side. So it's bright enough that you can see everything around you and even around corners when you're riding in darker trails. You can easily cycle through the modes just pressing the button. We found medium and high were more than adequate. While very dark trails, turbo mode was very useful as you can really see everything around you. The flash mode is also separated, which is really nice to see, so you don't accidentally have to go through it. You can only get there by double pressing on the button, which is a really nice feature. Now let's compare the BC21R version 3 with other lights. We actually have the version 2 here, which we previously reviewed. And you can see the LED previously had these deflectors. That actually helps with the beam. So you can see it has a very soft beam cutoff versus the new version, which has more of a cone beam. So it has more glare, but it does allow you to ride upside down or right side up, as it doesn't matter. You can also see the previous one had a plastic rear and then the metal front. And instead of using the tail cap as they do now, it had the body separator right down the middle, which was kind of cool because it was disguised. But you can see obviously the new version looks a lot more premium than the old one. Same mounts, both had USB Type-C charging, which is always great to see again, especially on bike accessories. Otherwise very similar, but obviously this is brighter now at 1200 lumens. A lot of the visual design of this is obviously inherited from the BC26R, which we also recently reviewed. You can see almost identical visually, have a tail cap. The bodies are slightly different. This has a little cutout for side visibility, while this one does not. And some of the details on the housing are slightly different. You have little cutouts here and a little groove. Otherwise, same mount, USB Type-C. And this one is obviously 1600 lumens, thanks to a bigger battery to support it. But same spring-loaded tail cap, and you can see it's 5000 milliamp versus the 18650 with only 2600 milliamp. So if you need more runtime, obviously the 26R is a good option. If you want something a little more affordable, then the version 3 of the 21R is a good option. We've also reviewed quite a few Magicshine lights. This is the Alti, the RN1500. Visually similar to the Alti, but they switched the name once it goes above the 1000 lumen output. Integrated battery, but you can see pretty similar. Underneath here, there's likely a lithium ion cell, but it's just non-removable. That's the big benefit of Fenix. You can actually remove the battery, replace it, carry an extra one if you want to ride longer distances. The nice thing about the Magicshine is it does have that little deflector in there, so it helps with the beam. And this one also has color options, which is really cool, instead of just black and charcoal. Very similar designs though. You can check the battery with the multi-battery status indicator by just pressing the top button. And then the interfaces are nearly identical as well, so you cycle through the different settings and then double press to get to the flash. The Magicshine has 2 flashes, which I think are better suited for nighttime or daytime riding, where the nighttime flash on the 21R only does the low-high, which I think is better for nighttime riding instead of daytime visibility. Now let's go over the pros and cons for the Fenix BC21R V3. What we like about it is that it has a replaceable battery. Pretty rare feature when it comes to bike lights. Also, it has an intuitive user interface and battery indicator. So you simply cycle through the intensities, double press to go to flash, and then the color also indicates the battery status, so there's no guessing. You also have a very premium looking and feeling metal housing, so it feels a lot more expensive than the retail price would suggest. Some of the cons for the light is the fact that it does use a proprietary mount instead of a Garmin style mount. The nice thing is Fenix does offer accessories, so you can attach this to a GoPro. Also, there's only a nighttime flash mode, which is a high-low instead of on-off. Would have been really nice to see a on-off variation for daytime riding. Also, the light with the version 3, it actually lacks the dual beam lens of the previous version, which had a soft beam cutoff, which does help reduce glare for other people on the road. Taking everything into account, we'd give the light a 9.0 out of 10. It's sleeker and brighter than previous generation, and a testament to how technology improves. Thanks for watching this review. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can see more content from us on our website at thesweetcyclist.com, as well as follow us on Instagram at thesweetcyclist. This is The Sweet Cyclist reminding you to enjoy the ride.